Hey YouTube, Maddie's Daddy 12, Team JMT. Going to give you guys the next segment of Understanding Stun. This is Rock Stun. Um, the biggest difference between Rock Stun and about any other general stun deck that you'll see is the monster lineup. That's like the biggest difference in most any stun variant. This one, I feel like you're able to add in a little bit more player preference in just because of the different style of the rock monsters that you have to work with. I'm going to give you guys my deck list across the top. And then I'm going to actually talk about some card choices down here. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing with the Rock Stun, as we most all know, it runs off of the Kokomiru engine. You have Kokomiru Guardian, which is basically the Doom Cow of this deck. The biggest difference between him and Doom Cow is that you have the option to tribute him, where Doom Cow there is no option. Next, you have Kokomiru Sandman. You can tribute him to negate the activation of a trap. I really like him. I don't know if I would run him in 3. I have him in 3 in my build, but I don't know if I'd run him in 3 just because the majority of the traps that are being ran right now are Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, 7 tools. They're spell speed 3s, so you won't be able to stop them with him to begin with. However, he's still a 1900 beater and is just good stuff whenever it comes to just attacking power. Next, Kokomiru Wall. Once again, 1900 attack, and you contribute him to negate the activation of a spell card. The latest edition of the support that Rock Stun has been getting. Next, we have Kokomiru Boulder. This is one that you may or may not see in a build, just because there are some other monsters that you can run that could be better than this. However, I look at it and say when he dies, I can search for Guardian, Sandman, or Wall and get a 1900 beat stick. I like him. I'm going to run one of him. Next, another thing to remember about these guys is their maintenance cost. You do have to reveal a rock from your hand in order to be able to let these guys live through the turn. So keep that in mind when playing this deck. Hand advantage or hand size is extremely important whenever you're playing this deck. Next, like I said, the reason that I feel this deck has the most opportunity to show player preference is because of the additional rock monsters that you can run. And this is just a small example of what you have to choose from. Probably my most favorite monster in the game, Neospatian Grandmo. I really like him in this deck just because there's nothing better than getting out one of these 1900 beat sticks, summoning him, attack, bounce their monster, attack directly for 19. It's really good stuff. Next, you have Falsadina. Roll oppression on legs, be it very small legs, 1200 attack, 1300 defense. But still, he's Royal Oppression. He gives you the option of possibly not even playing Royal Oppression in the deck, just because he does what he does. Neither player can special summon, and when he is flipped face up, destroy all special summoned monsters. So you can set him. They attack with a YuGiOh, a Bryo, any other synchro monsters, and he will flip and destroy all of them. So that's really nice. To get past. Can gain you a big plus immediately. Next is Legendary Jiu-Jitsu Master. Another one of my more favorite cards in the game. 1800 defense, you can set him. Your opponent attacks. You bounce. And at 1800 defense, he stands a pretty good chance at living through that first battle, which means your opponent must attack him then a second time in order to get over him, which gains you the plus from that. Or you're gonna force your opponent into using a smashing ground or a dark hole or something along those lines in order to get past him. So yeah, another really good monster. Another one of those problematic monsters that I talked about that can help you gain pluses. Morphing Jar, another rock. A lot of people overlook this. I like playing this in my stun deck, or my rock stun, just because this is one of those decks that as soon as it loses card advantage, you begin to lose the game. So setting this and then replenishing your hand is awesome. Another thing to remember is this is one of the few decks, the few stun decks that you can play extremely passive with. I mean, you can set here, you can set here, you can set here, you can set there. I mean, so you have a lot of monsters that you're able to set with, where with a lot of the other stun decks, you don't always have that option. So there you go, guys. There's the most of the monster lineup. We're gonna move on into one spell card that I want to talk about. Trap lineup is pretty basic, but I'm going to move on into the spells. And the spell that I want to talk about is Pot of Duality. This is one deck that I feel just has to have 3 Pot of Duality. I mean, if you look at all of these cards, all of them are fairly easily obtained. It's pretty close to about as budget as an anti-meta deck can get until you play this. And I just really feel that this is one of those decks that is just so slow that you really need Pot of Duality in order to keep up with the other decks in the meta. I have played when I played in Nashville and got my invite with Chaos Stun. I only played one of these in my Chaos Stun, and it worked out just fine for me. When I played in Louisville and got forgot what place I got in Louisville. I believe it was like 25th or 28th, something like that. I'm not really for certain. But when I played in Louisville, I had 2 of these in the deck, and to be completely honest with you, I never saw a difference with this card. I don't feel like Pot of Duality either won me the game or lost me the game. I just also feel that in this deck, it's one of those few decks that you really do need 3 of this card in order to play it at an extremely high competitive level. So there you go, guys. That's my little segment on Rock Stun. If you look across the top, I'll have my deck list up there. And you guys can see the full deck list of what I would be playing if I was to take this to a regional. So I appreciate it, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Comment down below. Show us how much you love us.